I'm Amelia Sullivan, 32 years old. For 15 years, my wealthy parents treated me like a servant while my sister Sarah lived like a queen. Every holiday, every family event, I slaved in the kitchen while she charmed the guests. Last Christmas Eve, my mother ordered me to cook for 25 of Sarah's VIP friends on just 24 hours' notice. That's when I snapped. What happened next didn't just shake up our family. It revealed a secret that stunned everyone, even a Fortune 500 CEO. Before I share how I went from family maid to my parents begging for forgiveness, please like and subscribe if you love stories of justice. Drop a comment with where you're watching from and the time. I read every one. Let me take you back to that December night when everything shifted. I was in my Manhattan apartment, packing my suitcase, when my phone rang. Mom flashed on the screen. I braced myself. Our Connecticut home was decked up for Christmas, I knew because I'd hung the decorations every year since I was 17. Amelia, cancel your plans for tomorrow, my mother, Margaret, barked, skipping any greeting. Her tone left no room for debate. I folded my blazer, staying calm. What's tomorrow? Sarah's hosting her networking group for Christmas Eve. Big names, Amelia. 25 guests, including Pinnacle Corporation execs. Her smirk was practically audible. Be here by noon to cook. 7 mains, 10 sides. Menus set. My grip tightened on the phone. Sarah's networking group, typical. My sister, a PR whiz, loved flaunting her connections. Mom, Sarah's building bridges for this family. Be grateful to help. Her words stung as always. You've got nothing better to do. I glanced at my laptop. An email from Victoria Chen, CEO of Pinnacle Hospitality, glowed on the screen. If only Mom knew. Use the good china, she went on. These aren't your usual crowd. They matter. Unlike me, apparently. I'll send the menu. Don't mess this up. She hung up. I stared at my Florida plane ticket. Departure, 8 p.m. tomorrow. My hands were steady now. After 15 years, I knew their emergencies weren't my priorities. Sitting on my bed, old wounds resurfaced. 15 years of being invisible unless they needed me. Every Thanksgiving since I was 17, Amelia's cooking, Sarah's entertaining. Every Christmas, Amelia's jobless, but she's handy in the kitchen. Every gathering, Sarah was our star in PR, while I was just Amelia, helping out. Sarah's engagement party was the worst. 200 guests at the country club. I spent 14 hours on appetizers while Sarah shone in a $3,000 dress Mom and Dad bought. When someone asked about my job, Mom laughed. Amelia's not like Sarah, but she's a great cook. I grabbed my second suitcase from the closet. Inside, in a leather folder, was my game changer, a contract with my company's name, Stellar Events, in gold. I'd picked a name without Sullivan on purpose. For 5 years, I'd built my business quietly, 50 employees, 3 locations, clients like luxury resorts and Fortune 500 firms. Tomorrow, while they expected me to cook, I'd be sealing a $2 million deal. My phone buzzed. Sarah's text, Mom says you're cooking tomorrow. Don't ruin it. VIPs are coming. I glanced at my ticket again. Flight 447 to Fort Lauderdale, 8 p.m. Not this time, I whispered. They'd have to manage without me. I had a plane to catch. Packing, I couldn't ignore the truth. 2 signs had screamed my place in this family, and I'd overlooked them too long. First, how they introduced me. At last month's country club dinner, Dad told his buddy, Sarah's our winner, Amelia's between gigs. Between gigs? I'd closed a $500,000 contract that morning. They never asked about my work or how I paid for my Manhattan place or new car. They were so sure I was a failure that when I mentioned a business trip once, Mom laughed. What business? Your cooking hobby? The second sign hit harder. Last summer, I found my childhood bedroom turned into Sarah's extra closet. My trophies, books, my life, boxed in the basement. Sarah needs the space, Mom said. Her career's about image. Sarah got the whole third floor redone with a home office and walk-in closet, paid for by our parents. The message was loud: one daughter was worth investing in, the other was nothing. Zipping my suitcase, I thought of last week's company party. My 50 employees threw me a surprise bash for landing the Pinnacle account. They saw my worth. My phone lit up. Mom again, don't skip the truffle oil. These guests expect sophistication. As if I didn't cater for CEOs and stars. Why would she know? She never asked. The worst part? They never cared to ask, Amelia, what do you do all day? They built a story, poor Amelia, jobless, scraping by in a studio. It's a 2-bedroom condo. Living off grandma's savings. I invested that into my business. At least she cooks. I have 3 executive chefs. I scrolled through my phone's photos, me with the mayor at a gala I catered, my team at our 3rd location's opening, my hospitality quarterly feature, the quiet catering revolutionary. I never shared these with my family. Success without their approval felt dangerous. Once, I mentioned a big client. Mom instantly switched to Sarah's energy drink PR campaign. At least you're useful in the kitchen, she said, patting my hand like I was a kid with a cute drawing. I checked my company dashboard. Stellar events, built without a cent from my parents, free of the Sullivan name, thriving without their nod. Tomorrow's revenue would top Sarah's 6-month earnings, but they'd never know. My assistant texted, Forbes wants you for their 40 under 40. They love that you built this without family help. No family help? That's putting it mildly. They didn't just not help, they ignored me unless I was cooking. If you've ever felt unseen by your family or like your success doesn't count, you'll get why I acted next. Comment below, have you hidden achievements from toxic relatives? I read every comment, and it means so much to know I'm not alone. If this story hits home, please subscribe. We're building a community that refuses to be dimmed. Now, the text that changed it all. My phone pinged with a calendar alert, and reality hit hard. If I stayed and played servant tomorrow, I'd lose everything I'd built. The Pinnacle hospitality contract was huge, $2 million, exclusive rights to their 5 Florida resorts, a deal to make Stellar Events a national name. The meeting, December 26 at 9 a.m., was non-negotiable. Victoria Chin, Pinnacle's CEO, was blunt, I'm back to Singapore on the 27th, Amelia, we need you in person, or the board picks our second choice. My competitor was circling like a shark. It wasn't just the money. My 50 employees depended on me. Maria, my head chef, was buying her first home, counting on this deal's growth. James, my operations manager, wanted better schools for his kids. This was their dream, too. I checked my bank statements. I was doing well, but this contract would be a game changer. It meant leaping from regional success to a national name, a once-in-a-lifetime shot. My phone rang. My CFO. Amelia, you'll be at the resort for the pre-meeting dinner with Victoria's team, right? I'll be there, I said, eyeing my packed bags. Good. Victoria's excited to meet the CEO who built an empire with no family help. She called her success rare and real. If only she knew the full story. My phone pinged. An email from Mom, subject, urgent Christmas Eve menu. My stomach churned as I opened it. 7 mains, 10 sides, 5 guests with dietary needs, wine pairings, desserts. Every detail was planned, dishes, garnishes, even the plates. Use the Waterford crystal and monogrammed silver, she wrote. These are big names, Amelia. Victoria from Pinnacle Corporation is coming. She could boost Sarah's career. I nearly dropped my phone. Victoria Chen, at my parents' house? I scanned the guest list she attached. There it was, Victoria Chen, CEO, Pinnacle Hospitality. My heart pounded. The woman I'd met in Florida was expecting me to serve her as the unemployed daughter. Sarah texted, "Mom says Victoria Chen's coming. She's a hospitality giant. I'm pitching her PR services. Don't mess up with your amateur cooking." Amateur? I'd catered Victoria's 500-person retreat last month, but through my team. We hadn't met. That was set for tomorrow. I sank onto my bed, the choice crushing me: stay and play servant for the woman who'd make me a millionaire, or leave, face my family's anger, and secure my future. My Uber alert popped up: ride to JFK, 6:30 p.m. tomorrow. I glanced at the menu, the contract, my ticket. The decision was clear. I called Mom. She answered instantly. Finally. "I thought you weren't taking this seriously." "Mom, I can't do it." Silence. Then her voice sharpened. "What do you mean, can't?" "I'm flying to Florida tonight for a business trip." "Ridiculous." She laughed, voice rising. "What business? Some fake meeting? Stop being selfish. Sarah needs this." Sarah could hire a catering team. With what money? That's expensive. I bit my tongue. The irony of her saying that to me, a catering company owner, was unreal. "Family comes first," she snapped. "Or are you too selfish to get that?" "I get it. Family matters when you need me." "How dare you? When did we ask about your life? I'm a CEO." A cruel laugh. "CEO of what? Your fantasy company?" "It's real. I have 50 employees. Enough with the lies. Sarah needs this. You owe us." "Oh, you? You raised me but treated me like a maid." "You're dramatic. What else do you have? Christmas alone in your tiny apartment?" I glanced at my business class ticket. "I have an 8 p.m. flight." "Cancel it. No leave, and don't come back." Her old threat usually worked. Not this time. "Then goodbye," I said softly. "You're not serious." "I'm done being your servant, Mom. Done being invisible until you need me." Ungrateful, I hung up. My hands shook, but not from fear or anger. For the first time in 15 years, it was freedom. Sarah's texts flooded in. "What did you do?" "Mom's freaking out." "Stop the drama and get here." I turned off my phone and kept packing. They'd manage. They always did when forced. I turned my phone back on to clear things up. It rang instantly. "Sarah, what's wrong with you?" she screamed. "Mom's telling everyone you're crazy." "I have a business meeting Christmas Eve." "Stop lying." "I'm not. This is about Mom giving me your room, right?" "That was years ago, Sarah. This is about my career." "What career?" "You cook sometimes." "I own a catering company." "Yeah, right." Her tone dripped sarcasm. "I'll pay you $200 to cook." I nearly laughed. My chef rate was $5,000 a day. She'd never know. Non-negotiable, Sarah. "I'm not coming. Mom will disown you." Her choice. "You're ruining Christmas?" "My networking chance?" "Victoria Chen's coming. Hire a caterer." "On Christmas Eve?" "No one's free." On my counter was a notepad with 3 emergency catering companies and their 24-hour hotlines. More than they deserved, but I wasn't heartless. I left numbers on my counter. "I'm not driving to Manhattan for your dumb note. Google emergency caterers." You're selfish. I'm professional. My business needs me to travel. What business? She yelled. Stop pretending you're someone. Uber pinged, driver arrives in 2 hours. I'm done, Sarah. Do this, and you're dead to us. I'm already invisible. What's the difference? I hung up, shut off my phone. On the counter, I left the catering numbers and my business card, Amelia Sullivan, CEO, Stellar Events. They wouldn't see it. But I'd know I tried, even as I chose myself first. The plane left JFK at 8:07 p.m. I exhaled. Connecticut's lights faded below. Mom was probably calling every relative, calling me the ungrateful daughter who ditched Christmas. I opened my laptop to the Pinnacle contract. Clause 15.3, CEO must attend all strategic sessions. Victoria insisted on hands-on founders. My inbox had 17 emails from Victoria's team confirming the schedule: 7 p.m. pre-meeting dinner, 9 a.m. presentation on the 26th, contract signing after, if the board approved. Victoria's email read, "Excited to meet you, Amelia. I've followed Stellar Events' growth for 2 years. Your reputation's stellar." My reputation. If only she knew I was meant to serve her dinner tonight. My assistant texted via the plane's Wi-Fi, "Forbes wants to include your family background in the article. They love the built-from-nothing angle." I replied, "Article's out December 27th, right? Midnight, 26th. Perfect. My family would learn who I was when the world did, after the contract was signed." I opened the Forbes draft they'd sent. Headline: From Invisible to Invaluable, Amelia Sullivan's Catering Empire, Built Without Family Money. The universe had a knack for timing. The Pinnacle Resort suite was stunning. Floor-to-ceiling windows showed the Atlantic, with champagne on ice and a note, "Welcome, Miss Sullivan. Excited for our partnership, Victoria Chin." I set my bags down and checked my phone: 47 missed calls from Mom, 18 from Sarah, 3 from my usually quiet dad. I deleted the voicemails. Instead, I opened an email that made me smile. My PR manager sent the Forbes final proof: "You're the cover story." Hits newsstands December 27th. The cover, my confident photo, not the invisible daughter they knew. It detailed my start with $5,000 from waitressing, building Stellar Events without investors, succeeding without family ties. Another email popped up from Victoria: "Amelia, I'll arrive late to tomorrow's dinner, coming from a Connecticut event. Hope that's okay." Connecticut. She was at my parents' house, probably wondering where the fancy dinner was. My assistant texted, "Forbes wants to know if you'll share your family's reaction to your success." I replied, "They'll find out with everyone else when the magazine drops." That's ice cold, boss. Love it. I stood by the window, waves crashing outside. In 12 hours, I'd land the biggest deal of my life. In 36 hours, my face would be on every Forbes magazine. Revenge? No. It's success they never expected. While I slept soundly in my Florida suite, Connecticut was a mess. Morning texts told the story. By 6 p.m. Christmas Eve, Mom realized I wasn't coming. The kitchen was empty, the fridge bare, with 25 guests due soon. Sarah's texts were frantic, Mom's freaking out, calling every restaurant for miles. "They're all closed. How could you do this?" Dad texted at 6:45 p.m., "Your mother's breaking down. Please come." At 7 p.m., guests arrived: bankers, PR execs, and Victoria Chin, Pinnacle's CEO. They expected the lavish dinner Mom had hyped for weeks. Sarah's 7:23 p.m. text: "We're getting pizza." "Pizza, Amelia? Do you get what you've done?" At 7:47 p.m., Mom's telling everyone you're unreliable, always have been. It's all your fault. By 8:15 p.m., pizza arrived: 5 Papa John's, 3 Domino's, too big for one chain. Mom, who'd bragged about my cooking, served it on her Waterford crystal. Sarah's texts grew desperate, Victoria Chen's disgusted. Guests are leaving. Mom called you unstable, the family failure. Her final text at 9:33 p.m, party's done. Everyone left early. Victoria didn't stay for dessert. Mom says you're dead to her. I set my phone down and ordered breakfast. In 3 hours, I'd dine with Victoria Chen. Would she mention my parents' disaster? Would she connect my last name? Mostly, I wondered how Mom's face would look when she learned the truth. The Pinnacle Resort pre-dinner meeting was set for 7 p.m. I arrived early, in my sharpest suit, ready to seal my biggest deal. Victoria walked in, looking weary. Amelia, sorry I'm late. I just came from the weirdest Christmas Eve party in Connecticut. My pulse stayed even. I was ready. What happened? You won't believe it, she said, sitting down. The hostess, Margaret Sullivan, same last name as you, funny enough, promised a fancy dinner by her daughter. I nodded, silent. It was chaos. No food, empty kitchen, and she ordered pizza. Pizza! For execs she'd been trying to impress. That's awkward, I said. Worse, Victoria continued. She trashed her older daughter all night, calling her unreliable, unstable, a letdown. Said she was supposed to cook but vanished. She showed me a photo from the party. Mom's face was red, pizza boxes cluttering her mahogany table. The younger daughter, Sarah, tried to save it, pitching me PR while serving Papa John's on plates worth a fortune. How long did you stay? 20 minutes post-pizza. The hostess was too busy blaming her daughter to host. It was, she paused, the most unprofessional night ever. She said her daughter's too dumb for a real job, just cooks for them. I kept my hands steady. That's awful. I can't imagine treating family like that. Victoria opened her menu. Let's talk about something better, your amazing company. Get ready, because this is where it all falls apart spectacularly. If you've been waiting for truth to hit hard, you'll love this. But first, what would you have done? Told Victoria who I was right then, or waited for the perfect moment? Comment below. I love your takes, and if this story speaks to you, hit subscribe to share it with others. Now, the moment that changed it all. December 26th, I stood in Pinnacle's boardroom, ready to pitch to Victoria's team. The contract was ready, my presentation perfect. Then her assistant rushed in with an iPad. Ms. Chen, you need to see this. A photo from that Connecticut party's going viral on LinkedIn. Victoria's face shifted, curiosity, confusion, shock. She looked at me, then the screen, then me again. Amelia, this photo from the Sullivan house. She showed me. It was a family picture from last Thanksgiving, me barely visible in the back, Sarah front and center with my parents. Is this you? I nodded. Yes. Margaret Sullivan's my mother. The room went quiet. Her team exchanged looks. The lawyer set down his pen. The woman who called you unreliable, unstable, jobless, your mother? Yes. Victoria paced to the window, then turned. You were supposed to cook that pizza disaster. I was, but I chose this meeting instead of being their servant. She checked her phone. Your mom said you're a failure who only cooks. She doesn't know about stellar events. She never asked. She sank into her chair. Your family has no clue you run a top East Coast catering company. None. Not my 50 employees, 3 locations, or this $2 million deal. Her partner, James, cut in. Wait. The woman serving pizza on Fancy Crystal doesn't know her daughter could have done a 5-star event? She assumes I'm a failure. Victoria laughed, real, loud laughter. She spent all night whining about her useless daughter. That's you, the CEO I've wanted to work with for 2 years. She faced her team. This is the most interesting contract we'll ever sign. She opened Google, typing my name. Results loaded fast. Wow. She showed her team. First, my hospitality quarterly feature. Second, my James Beard nomination. Third, a Wall Street Journal entrepreneur piece. Your family knows none of this. Before I could reply, her assistant burst in. Ms. Chen, Forbes just dropped their 40 under 40 cover for tomorrow. He projected it. My headshot, bold and professional, with the headline, From Invisible to Invaluable, Amelia Sullivan's Catering Empire, Built Without Family Money. Victoria read, Sullivan, 32, turned $5,000 into a multi-million-dollar business, avoiding family ties. Success doesn't need a famous name or their money, she says. She looked at me. This drops tomorrow midnight. Your family's clueless. They'll know when the world does. James whistled. Your mom's about to see her jobless daughter on Forbes's cover. The assistant scrolled the preview. It says your events have a 6-month wait list. True? 8 months in peak season. Victoria stood. I need to make a call. She stepped out, talking fast through the glass. She returned, smirking. I called Margaret Sullivan. My stomach dropped. What? I said I was disappointed in her event and taking my business elsewhere. She blamed her older daughter. Then I told her I signed a $2 million deal with the best entrepreneur I know, her daughter, Amelia Sullivan, CEO of Stellar Events. Silence. She gasped like the air left her lungs, then hung up. My phone, on silent, showed 47 missed calls from Mom in 3 minutes. Victoria offered her hand. Ms. Sullivan, let's sign this contract. We've got a partnership to celebrate. As I signed the $2 million deal, Dad texted, your mother fainted. What's Stellar Events? Champagne flowed, but my phone kept buzzing. I stepped out to check. Mom, pick up now. Sarah, this a joke? Dad, Mom's hysterical. Call. Sarah again, Victoria Chen told everyone you're a CEO. Mom says you're faking to shame us. Back in the boardroom, Victoria's team was celebrating. My family thinks I'm lying about being a CEO. Victoria's eyes sparkled. Want me to send them proof? Before I could answer, she snapped a photo of me with the contract, her team, and champagne. She posted it on LinkedIn, tagging Stellar Events, Pinnacle, and Mom. Her post, thrilled for our $2 million deal with Stellar Events and CEO Amelia Sullivan. Her top-tier catering will elevate Pinnacle's resorts. Incredible to work with someone who built an empire from zero. Within minutes, likes and comments poured in. Industry peers congratulated me. Clients praised Stellar Events. My phone buzzed. It was Sarah. With Victoria's nod, I answered on speaker. This can't be true, Sarah said, her voice trembling. It's true, I replied. You've been a CEO for 5 years? Why didn't you tell us? You never asked. You all thought I was a failure and treated me like one. Mom's freaking out, calling everyone to explain. Victoria's post is everywhere. That's not my issue anymore. How can you be so heartless? I glanced at Victoria and her team, all successful people who always saw my worth. I'm not heartless, Sarah. I'm done. Done being invisible until you need a chef. Done being the family letdown. Done hiding my success to make you feel better. But we're family. Family doesn't treat each other like help. Call me when you're ready to meet Amelia Sullivan, the CEO, not Amelia the cook. I ended the call. Victoria lifted her champagne. To boundaries. We clinked glasses, and for the first time, I felt truly seen. Later, I called Mom back. She picked up instantly, sobbing. How could you do this to us? Do what, Mom? Embarrass us. Victoria Chin told the whole country club about your company. People are asking why we didn't know our daughter was a success. You never asked about my life, Mom. We asked. We knew you cooked sometimes. You assumed I was a failure. For 5 years, you called me unemployed. Never once asked about my work or my life. You should have told us. I tried. 3 years ago, I mentioned a big client. You brushed it off to praise Sarah's energy drink campaign. Silence. I left catering numbers on my counter, I said. You could have saved the party. We don't have your keys. You've never asked to visit my place. You don't even know where I live. That's not, Mom, I employ 50 people. I have 3 locations, a James Beard nomination, features in magazines. And you thought I was jobless because it was easier than seeing me. We're your family. My family needed a servant. My business needs a CEO. I chose my business. This is spite. No, Mom, it's self-respect. I built something incredible without your money, connections, or belief in me. What do you want? Nothing. For the first time, I need nothing from you. Amelia, the Forbes article drops at midnight, I said. It explains how I built my company without family support. You told Forbes about us? I told my truth. If that embarrasses you, think about why. Dad's voice came faintly, Margaret, maybe we should listen. I'm done listening, Mom snapped, then to me, you've ruined us. No, Mom. I've built my life. Call when you're ready to join it, as equals, not masters. I hung up softly, feeling lighter than ever. The fallout hit me like a storm I didn't summon, but it raged anyway, fierce and unrelenting for my family. Within those first 48 hours after Victoria's LinkedIn post went live, their carefully polished world started cracking. I could almost hear the whispers rippling through the country club circuits, those manicured lawns hiding sharp tongues. Sarah's texts flooded in, each one more frantic than the last. Pinnacle just axed our PR contract. Victoria straight up told them they don't deal with folks who trash family values. That single blow wiped out $500,000 in annual revenue for her firm, a hit that must have felt like a gut punch after all her boasting. She kept texting, Mom's been kicked off the charity board. They claim it's unrelated, but come on, we all know it's tied to this mess. Dad's golf buddies are grilling him, how could he not know his own daughter was sitting on millions? I read those messages in my office, surrounded by the hum of my team at stellar events, and felt a strange mix of detachment and vindication. For years, they'd painted me as the shadow in their spotlight. Now, the light was shifting, exposing the flaws in their facade. The Forbes article amplified everything, turning a spark into a wildfire in our tight-knit Connecticut social scene. That headline, built without a dollar of family money, was brutal in its simplicity, a direct jab at their assumptions. But the real dagger? Buried in paragraph 3, my family thought I was unemployed. It was easier to build an empire quietly than fight their assumptions. I remember proofreading that line with my editor, feeling the weight of truth in every word. It wasn't revenge, it was release. Friends from the old neighborhood messaged me, shocked and supportive, while my family's circle buzzed with judgment. Then Dad called, his voice gravelly over the line, a rarity, since he usually let Mom handle the emotional heavy lifting. Amelia, I need to say something, he started, pausing like he was gathering courage from thin air. I waited, my heart thudding softly. I knew you were up to something with that catering business. Years back, some mail got mixed up, and I spotted the registration papers. But your mom, she was so locked into her version of you. I should have spoken up. I'm ashamed of that now. His words hung there, raw and unfiltered, the most genuine he'd been with me since I was a teenager dreaming of culinary school. "Why didn't you, Dad?" I asked, my tone steady but probing, like peeling back layers of an onion I'd long ignored. He sighed deeply. It was just easier to let her narrative roll on. Fighting it would have meant upheaval at home, and I took the coward's path. "I see it clear as day now, how I was complicit in dimming you. Your success? It's nothing short of remarkable. We flat out missed it because we weren't looking. Mom's already lost 3 charity positions, those committees she lived for. Sarah's firm is hemorrhaging clients left and right. People are whispering, asking how we could treat our own successful daughter like some hired servant while puffing up Sarah for her run-of-the-mill PR campaigns." His honesty stirred something in me, a flicker of understanding amid the hurt. "I never wanted to hurt anyone, Dad," I said softly, staring out my window at the city skyline. He cut in gently. "You didn't hurt us, Amelia. We brought this on ourselves. We crafted this twisted story where you were the perpetual underachiever and Sarah the golden child. Now the whole world's seeing through it, and it's on us." He paused, chuckling bitterly. "That pizza disaster from Christmas Eve? It's already legendary at the country club. Margaret Sullivan, the queen of entertaining, dishing out Papa John's on her prized Waterford Crystal, while her CEO daughter was out there sealing million-dollar deals. It's humiliating, but poetic." Even through the phone, I felt a twinge of sympathy twist in my chest, unexpected after all the years of resentment. "Dad, I don't want to drag this out," I began, but he interrupted firmly. "No, Amelia. We earned every single consequence. Every sidelong glance, every lost invitation, it's the price of our blindness." As my family navigated their self-inflicted chaos, my world exploded in the best ways imaginable. The Forbes piece didn't just tell my story, it showcased that photo from the Pinnacle signing, me with champagne flute in hand, flanked by sharp-suited executives who saw my vision and bet on it. Juxtaposed against our old family Thanksgiving snapshot, where I hovered in the background like forgotten staff, the contrast was impossible to ignore. It screamed transformation. In just 1 week, Stellar Events fielded over 200 inquiries, from high-profile weddings to corporate galas. Clients who'd hesitated before now clamored for meetings, drawn to the underdog narrative. My inbox became a whirlwind of opportunities, interview requests from podcasts and magazines, invitations to speak at industry conferences, even preliminary talks for brand partnerships. Victoria Chin turned into my fiercest advocate, weaving my tale into her networking chats with infectious energy. "Imagine," she'd say with a wink and a laugh, "having a star right in your own family and treating her like a lowly maid. Amelia's the real deal, talent, grit, and zero handouts." Those introductions weren't casual, they sealed 3 major contracts totaling $10 million, propelling us into new markets. To keep up, I onboarded 20 fresh hires, elevating Maria to executive chef. Her innovative menus had been the backbone of our rise, and James to COO, his operational wizardry ensuring we scaled smoothly. During one of our expansion meetings, crammed around the conference table with blueprints and projections, Maria leaned forward with a grin. "You know what I love most about this place, boss? You built it for folks like us, the ones who got overlooked, underestimated, but packed with raw talent waiting to shine." Her words landed like a warm embrace. She was spot on. I'd gravitated toward hiring people with stories mirroring mine, dismissed by previous bosses, undervalued in past roles, yet brimming with potential. It wasn't intentional at first, but it became our secret sauce, a team of resilient dreamers turning setbacks into strengths. Then came the text from a reporter that made my day: "Your story's blowing up everywhere." Food Network circling for a documentary pitch, working title, Invisible to Invaluable, The Amelia Sullivan Story. I reread it twice, a surge of excitement bubbling up. But the pinnacle? An email invitation to speak at Cornell's School of Hotel Administration, my ultimate dream school, the one my parents had dismissed as too ambitious for someone like you. The topic hit home: building success without permission, creating your own path in hospitality. Preparing for it, I dove into notes, reliving milestones from late-night menu tests to that first big client win. As I scribbled ideas for the speech, my phone buzzed. "Mom, we need to talk, please." I stared at the screen, a storm of emotions swirling: anger, sadness, a hint of hope. Then I archived it, exhaling slowly. Success had become my shield against disrespect, proving my worth on my terms. Boundaries, though, they were the ultimate self-gift, walls that protected my peace without apology. 3 months ticked by before I agreed to meet them, choosing a quiet Manhattan restaurant as neutral ground, my territory, with its sleek decor and ambient hum shielding me from old patterns. They arrived looking diminished, Mom's once imperious posture softened, Sarah's smug aura evaporated, Dad carrying the weight of years in his slumped shoulders. I slid a single sheet across the table before words could fly. "Before anyone speaks, these are my terms." They scanned the list. 1. Equal respect or no contact at all. 2. No more treating me like a servant, ever. 3. Public acknowledgement of my success, no hedging. 4. Genuine apologies, backed by actions, not just words. 5. Therapy, for the family and each of us individually. "This is non-negotiable," I stated firmly, my voice steady like the CEO I'd become. "I'll be your daughter, not your servant," I continued, meeting their eyes one by one. "Your sister, not your on-call staff." Mom's eyes welled with tears, her hands trembling slightly. "Amelia, we've lost it all. My reputation in tatters. Sarah's clients fleeing." Her voice cracked, but I held firm. "That's not my burden to carry, Mom." Dad jumped in, his tone conciliatory. "We know that now. We're not here to point fingers or shift blame. We're here because we want a second chance, if you'll allow it." Sarah finally chimed in, her voice tentative but clear. "I was jealous, Amelia. From the start, you were always better at everything: school, creativity, even handling pressure. But Mom, she made me feel special by constantly making you feel small. I see how toxic and sick that dynamic was now." Her admission struck me hard. It was the most unguarded she'd been since we were kids sharing secrets under blankets. "I've started therapy," she added quietly, fiddling with her napkin. "My therapist explained how we created this family system where one person had to be the scapegoat, the failure, so the rest of us could feel superior and successful. You were slotted into that role before you even had a chance to fight back or redefine it." Mom extended her hand across the table but pulled back, respecting the invisible boundary. "I'm sorry, Amelia," she said, her words heavy with regret. "Not just for that awful Christmas Eve, but for the full 15 years of willful blindness. I turned you into the family help because I couldn't stomach the idea of you surpassing the safe, predictable life I'd envisioned for you, one that mirrored mine, I suppose." I scanned their faces, searching for sincerity amid the vulnerability. "I'll consider it," I replied measuredly. "But understand this, I'm not stepping back into the same broken family. If we rebuild anything, it's from the ground up, as equals, with no hierarchies." They all nodded, a collective exhale filling the space. "And Mom," I added with a hint of levity, "if you ever want Stellar Events to cater one of your events, you're paying full market price, no family discounts." For the first time in what felt like forever, she cracked a genuine smile, small but real. "Fair enough," she conceded. The meeting ended on a tentative note, no grand hugs or tearful reconciliations, just a quiet agreement to try. I left feeling lighter, not because everything was fixed, but because I'd claimed my power in that room. Driving back to my office, I reflected on how far I'd come, from silent endurance to vocal boundaries. It wasn't easy, but it was necessary. 6 months later, I decided to test the waters by hosting our first family dinner in my actual home, a spacious 2-bedroom condo overlooking Central Park, a sanctuary they'd never even known existed. I'd bought it 2 years into Stellar's success, furnishing it with clean lines and personal touches, a kitchen island for experimenting with recipes, floor-to-ceiling windows framing the bustling city below. My team from Stellar Events handled the catering, elegant small plates, seasonal ingredients, nothing over the top but impeccably executed. I made it crystal clear, I don't cook for family gatherings anymore. That boundary was etched in stone, a non-negotiable line protecting my energy. As my parents and Sarah settled at the dining table, my employees buzzed around efficiently, addressing me as boss with easy respect. The role reversal hung in the air like a subtle fog, me at the head, them as guests in my world. Mom glanced around, taking in the modern art on the walls and the view that screamed independence. Sarah complimented the decor, her tone genuine rather than envious. Dad seemed quieter, absorbing it all. This wasn't about rubbing it in or seeking revenge, it was about establishing a new reality, one where I wasn't the afterthought. Midway through the meal, I raised my glass of crisp white wine, the clink echoing softly. I want to be clear about a few things, I said, my voice calm and assured. Success doesn't require anyone's permission to exist. Self-worth isn't something you beg for or earn through validation, it's inherent. And respect? That's the foundation, without it, nothing stands. They listened intently, no interruptions. Mom nodded slowly, she'd been attending therapy sessions for 4 months now, delving into her patterns of control and favoritism. She'd even made a public apology at the country club during one of their luncheons, admitting outright that she'd been blind to my achievements. It hadn't magically restored her social standing, whispers lingered, but it chipped away at the walls between us, starting the slow work of repair. Sarah's PR firm had undergone its own transformation, pivoting to niche markets amid the client exodus. She'd approached me weeks earlier, politely, professionally, asking if Stellar Events might consider her services for our expanding publicity needs. No presumptions, no shortcuts. Send over a proposal like any other vendor, I'd told her, keeping it businesslike. She did, and it was impressive, strategic, data-driven, tailored to our brand. My team and I were reviewing it seriously, weighing it against competitors. It felt like a step toward equity, her earning her place rather than assuming it. Dad had emerged as my unexpected ally in all this, finding his voice after decades of passive silence. At gatherings now, he introduced me with beaming pride. This is my daughter, Amelia, the CEO of Stellar Events. No qualifiers, just pure admiration. He'd shared stories with me over coffee about his own regrets, missed opportunities in his career where he'd played it safe. Our conversations deepened, bridging the gap that had widened over years. But the profoundest change rippled through me, like a quiet revolution. I no longer shrank my success to fit others' comfort zones or dim my light to avoid casting shadows. Stellar Events had ballooned to 100 employees, with gleaming locations in 5 major cities: New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, Miami, and now Boston. We'd diversified into experiential events, immersive dinners, pop-up festivals, drawing rave reviews. The Food Network documentary aired to widespread acclaim, chronicling my journey with raw interviews and behind-the-scenes footage. Viewers messaged me daily, sharing how it inspired them to chase their own paths. Every single morning, without fail, I stood before my bathroom mirror, meeting my own gaze. I'm Amelia Sullivan, I'd affirm aloud, CEO of Stellar Events, builder of empires, not the family help, not the invisible one. Never again. It was my ritual, an anchor in a world that once tried to erase me. Your worth isn't diminished by someone else's inability or unwillingness to see it clearly. Hold that truth close, let it guide you through doubts and dismissals. Thank you for walking this journey with me, from feeling invisible to becoming utterly invaluable. If my story struck a chord, drop a comment below about a moment when you had to choose yourself over crushing family expectations. Your experience might be the spark someone else desperately needs today, a reminder they're not alone in the fight. If you stand by the idea that respect is due to every person, regardless of their perceived role or status, please share this video with a friend or colleague who could use the nudge. Hit subscribe for more raw, real stories about individuals who refuse to stay small, who rise despite the weights trying to hold them down. Remember, you're under no obligation to set yourself ablaze just to keep others warm. Preserve your flame for what truly matters. Until next time, this is Amelia, urging you to recognize your inherent value, and don't forget to add tax.